So joining the wholesale network was actually the biggest key to unlocking this success for me, transitioning over, because retail arbitrage was something I had done for years and I knew the game, but it wasn't a very scalable model. And so the wholesale network really taught me, here's the framework, here's the blueprint. You go out, you contact brands, distributors, you use tools like Smart Scout and other softwares to go find the products that are actually doing well, reverse source those back to the brand, back to the distributor, get accounts open where you can, and then you'll be able to sell whatever products you would like.
All right, guys, welcome to Miami Sellers Conference. I'm here with my guy, Justin, and we're just gonna yap back and forth, talk about what we're doing with Amazon, our journey on the platform, and everything, that's gone into going from arbitrage to wholesale, and now what we do, which is brand direct and brand partnerships. So Justin's inside the wholesale network. He started out doing retail arbitrage, sweating his balls off, driving store to store, and realized, hey, I need to start doing wholesale. But like a lot of people who get into the wholesale space, there's a reselling aspect to that too, and there's a lot of downsides to that too. And then you say, I just want to be the only seller. So that leads you to brand direct and brand partnerships. So Justin's in an interesting place right now. He's launching brands from scratch, and he's about 90 days in. So we're just going to talk back and forth, ask him how that's going, and you want to tell people a little bit about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background is in retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, spent about 6 years there flipping sneakers, Jordans, clothes, all the retail stuff, going into Nikes. And like Jonah said, I was driving around. I bought a Honda Odyssey with no AC, and I was driving around store to store picking up shoes, and one day it just became too much, and I decided, you know what, this isn't really a long-term longevity play for my business. I'm not really running a real business. I'm kind of running a side hustle, and I want to do something real. So I took my education that I had undergrad in business school, and I decided, let's go do this wholesale model. Let's run a real legitimate business, and we'll go from there and see what happens. So I switched over to wholesale about a year ago now. We're at Miami Sellers Conference. I switched over about a year ago today. This was my first show that I came to, met a bunch of people in the community, had a great network from this show, and we kind of started working in wholesale, opening up distributor accounts, and moving all of our dollars from retail arbitrage over to wholesale.
So what would you say the biggest difference is from arbitrage to wholesale? Now, we usually push people to start with arbitrage, right? Less risk, really proof of concept. You got to learn the business, learn how to buy for low, sell for high, do a FBA shipment. But the real hamster cycle is people get stuck in that because they don't think they can do wholesale, or they think it's too late to land a brand. Justin's a prime example. He literally cold turkeyed his arbitrage business because he realized there's a different skill set that goes into wholesale and brand management. He's now making phone calls, he goes to trade shows, he's shaking hands. That translates across every single business model. That can't always be the case when you're just like sourcing online and finding stuff for low. So what would you say the one skill set you've started to either learn or develop further when you started getting into this model?
Definitely, I think the one skill set that arbitrage didn't really teach me was actually doing the cold outreach, learning how to, not sales pitch, but learning how to actually talk to brand owners, talk to founders, learn what the value we can actually provide in this space, and learning how to actually convey that to brand owners and to distributors. Let them know that we're not just another third-party seller. For a lot of people in retail and online arbitrage, you're always looking for that next flip. It's product to product. You're putting out fires constantly. You're kind of stuck in that hamster wheel of when's my next product coming in? What am I going to find today? How much am I going to be able to sell it for? Yeah. And when you work in wholesale, that margin and those products you find are a little bit more secure. And so it really becomes about the relationships you can build with people. And it really becomes about the conversations that you can have and convey, hey, we're not just going to take your product, flip it and run. We actually want to provide services to you. We want to provide value. We like your brand. We like your products. We want to talk more about them. We want to tell those stories online. We're really good at doing that. We've been selling for 7 years at this point. We have all that expertise to come and take onto the table and bring that to our brands. And we say, hey, we're going to provide more than just selling products, placing a PO with you. We're going to actually do some of that agency management work. We're going to grow your brand. We're going to grow your sales. And we're able to do that because we know what works online.
You haven't done this before, right? So like, how did you confidently pitch that? How do you know you're able to get that done? Like what goes into after they say, okay, let's see what goes on?
Yeah, absolutely. So joining the wholesale network was actually the biggest key to unlocking this success for me, transitioning over, because retail arbitrage was something I had done for years and I knew the game, but it wasn't a very scalable model. And so the wholesale network really taught me, here's the framework, here's the blueprint. You go out, you contact brands, distributors, you use tools like Smart Scout and other softwares to go find the products that are actually doing well, reverse source those back to the brand, back to the distributor, get accounts open where you can, and then you'll be able to sell whatever products you would like. And so we used some of those tactics to kind of work backwards, find what we were looking for, and now we have a portfolio that we can buy consistently, we can sell repeatably, we know what our margins are going to be each month, we know how well they're going to sell, and we can continue to go back and repurchase those every time. So I'm not now looking for that next Jordan that's on the shelf that I'm hoping is there when I show up to the outlet store, you know what I mean? Every time I show up to my suppliers and to my brand representatives, I know what I'm going to buy, I know I'm going to purchase with them, and they know, hey, I'm building a good relationship with this guy who's going to be a repeatable business. They also have an incentive incentive to work well with you and treat you like a real business owner, which is something you don't really find a lot of the time working in arbitrage, online or retail.
And you're just like pouring value into them. You're trying to help grow their brand, and like the right person sees that, and then they want to mutually work with you. You told me last night, so you have a business degree.
Yep.
You learn more just from figuring it out, getting inside a community, right? A lot of people are skeptical about courses, coaching, communities. What would you speak to of that person who's like, they might be doing arbitrage or even wholesale already, not in any communities, not really developing their skill set?
Definitely, I was that person. Like I said it once before, a year ago today, I was here for the first time. This was my first show. This was my first time joining a community. I've always heard it from the podcast, people in the space saying, you gotta post content, you gotta join communities, you gotta talk to other people in the space. And coming from my background, I used to sell millions of dollars worth of sneakers back when I was 17, 18 years old. And so I kind of had that arrogance where I thought, hey, I know how to sell things online. What's a community gonna teach me that I don't already know? But joining the community has been probably the biggest value add to my life and my business, because not only do I meet really cool people in the space that are doing dozens of different business models, and you get to see where everyone's kind of finding their niche, but also when you find that group of people that you really mesh with, that you can do good business with, and you can talk about different business principles with and kind of what you're doing in the same space, it's a huge unlock for finding those little value adds that you didn't really know existed. And I know Jonah and I have been working a lot in the space together, launching brands, figuring out how to write contracts, structure deal negotiations, all things that we didn't really have to do all those years working in arbitrage or even just working in distribution work. And so he's done it for a lot longer than me, but we're still learning from each other every day. And so I've taken a lot of value from him and how to actually build listings and do advertising campaigns and do all the value adds that we do talk about with brands. And he's learned from me in deal structuring, negotiations, and how to, really protect the value that you're providing over the long term. Because I think we both had experiences where you can get burned by brands or by bad founders or people in the space who want to take advantage of that expertise without actually wanting to return the value, and they kind of just want to take from you instead of giving back as well.
So a lot of people will pitch the brand direct model as superior, which in our opinion it is, but they're pitching it because it's like the fake dream, right? You don't know what goes into it afterwards. You get in and there's like so much behind the scenes. That's really what the community's for. Information, courses, that's great, but like what happens when you are on the phone with that CEO of the company, or you're at the trade show and they give you that pain point, or they say, I don't know about that, but this, or comes down to contract negotiation. Like he just mentioned it, the community is so cool because I get to learn from all these guys. I'm not even the biggest seller in there revenue-wise whatsoever. I just have skill sets in certain things that some don't, so I can help them, they can help me. Justin's now structuring deals where I'm like, dude, that's really good. I need to pull that for mine. And so that's like the benefit of being in the room, doing the same business model actively today,
Definitely, 100%.
In terms of for your business, the next 5 year, like what's the plan?
I've thought about this a lot recently because when I transitioned from retail arbitrage over to wholesale, I pivoted those dollars over to distribution products where I was using that cash flow to kind of float my lifestyle and get solid again, make sure that I'm actually doing this properly, being profitable, not just growing top line revenue. And so as I was sitting back Q4 last year where I had some account health issues and I was running into some problems, I really took a step back and looked at where I wanted to be in 5 years. 3 to 5 years was my timeline of this is where I want to hang my hat at the end of the day on e-com, Amazon, everything I'm doing. And brands were that answer for me. So I knew that I wanted to have a portfolio of brands that I work with directly that are an extension of myself, who I am, products I believe in, stories that I want to tell, founders that I mesh with. And I don't just want to flip the products that, I don't really know about, I don't care about. And just to get that top line revenue and that profit number growing, I want to work with people that actually are trying to create products that make a difference for the consumer that I would use every day. Yeah. And so when I think about my 5 year timeline, that's something that's important to me is since I have distribution floating kind of the rest of my business, I can now outreach to brands and find those founders and owners, whether it's at trade shows, online, cold outreach, or coming to me, I really believe in and the products that I want to tell the story of. So I feel like for me, I'm not the world's greatest salesman, but I feel like I'm really good at telling a story. And so for me, that's my pitch and my value add to brands is, hey, let me tell your really cool story online. Yeah. And I know how to do that really well because I have all this expertise working in Amazon for so long. And so in 5 years, I want to look back and say, hey, I have 10, 15, 20, 30 brands that I work with that are an extension of who I am because I believe in them. I use them every day and I would sell you them and I would tell you to buy them because this is what I rock with, right? So when I look at 5 years, not in terms of exiting or anything else, but just I want to be able to look back on all the work I've done in wholesale brand direct and be like, hey, I've not only opened accounts with distributors, sold products all over the country, worked with really cool brands and told their story, but I now have a portfolio of people like behind me and that work with me as a brand partner, not just a reseller, where we can really collab and mesh on what we do and what we talk about and actually learning how to grow these brands.
Yeah, I like how you say like a portfolio. I look at it the same way. Like when I'm looking at my seller board, it's like each brand is a different stock, right? Like, okay, this one's performing, this one's not. This one needs more time, attention, capital. This one cut off. And that happens in the business. It's always going to be the 80-20 rule. You're always is not gonna like land a brand that just crushes from day one. Can be a slow process. Gotta know when to cut it off versus when it's worth investing further in. But the cool thing too, it's like we do more than just Amazon. Like when you work directly with brands and you're a brand partner, like we are growing your brand across everywhere. Yeah, Amazon's the focus, but like now we do some Shopify, we do Walmart, we do distribution, and those are the skill sets that we're teaching inside the community because brands want them.
Yeah.
So like what's next? Brands want creators. They want people posting everywhere.
That's also something I want to touch on as well, because I feel like that's the next evolution, is where we start on Amazon with all the years of experience we have, it being the biggest marketplace in the world, it being where brands need to show their professional presence, because 60% of all the online US searches when customers are looking for products start on Amazon. So if your product and your brand is not up there, you're losing to your competitors right away. Someone who's searching for your brand is now finding your competitor for half the price, or when it's advertised on your brand name keywords and your competitor's capturing that sale. So not only is it important just to get up there, but it's also important to use that as a launch pad to start on the biggest marketplace and grow and expand to other marketplaces as well. So we're starting to touch on Shopify, Walmart, TikTok Shop, Temu, Shein, all these other marketplaces have seen what Amazon's doing, and they're now launching their own version of FBA and opening up their own fulfillment centers and getting distribution across the country for different brand owners.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be ever more important to look at what Amazon's doing and replicate what we can take from there and expand it to the other marketplaces and channels. Something that's big for me is also in 5 years, I'd like to look back and have a distribution network as well, whether that's through a following with content, whether that's through retail, brick and mortar, however we put it together. I want to be able to say, hey, not only can I launch and scale you on Amazon, being the biggest marketplace, but we can also get you into brick and mortar retail stores. And now, not only is that more revenue for our company where we can sell it to a bunch of different channels and access the customer base all over the country from different touch points, but now also, we can get that Amazon captured sale, and we can work with brands to really grow their presence and tell their story right.
I mean, you're hitting it right there. It's all about the service, the value you add, and you are just identifying opportunities and better vehicles, really, right? Like you see better vehicles, you see people doing it. Some people see people doing it and they get skeptical, they start questioning, they're doubting. Other people see it and they get motivated, inspired. Like that's why we post content. Another thing you're doing now is starting to post social media and content. We talked about it earlier. That's a great way to get more leads, grow your business, grow your network. Got to put yourself out there though, and that's what he's been doing. Where can people find you at?
I'm at Jet LLC on Instagram, or Justin Taliaferro, all one word, no space.
There we go, man. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.